the battles within. It's really about that. It's about,
nobody's holding you back from anything. You are. Right.
Right.
It's
yeah.
the battle
Exactly.
within that you've got to address.
And there's battles every day. Every day we have choices and things that we have to go through. And there's battles that, you could overcome in a day, in a moment, in a season. Right.
Yeah.
And there's battles that you've been carrying all your life.
Real business owner.
Whatever your situation is currently is not your forever situation.
That's really what real business owners is, man. Like, we don't care where you come from, where are you going?
Our goal and our job is to reduce the mistakes that you have to make or the money that you have to lose.
You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be successful, don't give up.
You learn, adjust, and continue to move forward.
Welcome back to the Real Business Owners Podcast with myself, Trevor and Kale Goodman.
What's up, what's up?
Guys, today we're recording in beautiful Rosarito, Mexico at the Real Business Owners Mastermind. We have a special guest for you guys today. Well, he's definitely special to us. Adolfo Ayala. I said that right?
You said it right. Ayala.
Ayala. He's famous in the Philippines.
Yeah,
we just
but he's
found
not
out.
Filipino.
Yeah, he originated in Mexico, but he's famous in the Philippines.
You got to say it right since we're in the motherland, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I didn't want to botch that one while I'm in Mexico. Adolfo's been a mastermind member now. This is year 2. Bro, the changes that you've made are absolutely incredible. They're inspiring. When I talk to Corey, it's like, dude, you are a good soul. You have a light about you. You're just special as a human being. And every time I'm around you, I feel inspired and feel uplifted. And I know that, you feel the same. It's like reciprocal. That's what makes it so cool. So I'm happy to finally have you on the podcast and chop it up with you, dude.
Yeah,
so,
we always look forward to seeing you, man. And you make all the meetups, and we look forward to it, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate being here and, the friendships that I've, established here, obviously the friendships with you two, and just the opportunity to be around, badass individuals and, level up and, get different perspectives and, really change my mind and change the way I live day to day and, what I really value in life. So
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, you've made a lot of changes. Let's start there, right? Because you're definitely not the same individual that you were a year ago. You're a lot lighter than you were a year ago. That's for certain.
We're not talking about my skin tone though, right?
No, his skin tone's the exact same. Yeah. We're talking about the scale. How much weight have you lost just over the last 12 months? Or
I haven't really sat on the scale. I didn't even focus on that because it wasn't never about losing weight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was about feeling better and really being here for a longer period of time so that I could fulfill what I think is my calling, right? And so. I didn't feel right. I was lost for a while, and I just woke up one day and realized I'm not happy. I'm not really me.
Yeah.
And
you knew there was more.
I knew there was
something
more.
And that's when you get at a low place, I think that's how people get into a low place is they actually know deep down that there's something more. They could be doing more. This can't be it. This isn't all it is, right? And that's kind of your soul screaming at you saying pay some attention to me, right? Mm-hmm. And so how long ago was that when you kind of started really analyzing yourself and saying something's got to change?
So I started in January 2022.
Okay.
So right before the mastermind. Really started November of the prior year. I started listening to podcasts. I started kind of listening to self-development stuff and, just something clicked. And, that's how I came across you guys' podcast. And, I wasn't all dialed in. I was just okay, I got to start changing little things here and there. And, I got turned into 75 hard. So I started that and, I called it my own version of 75 hard because I was basically cheating the system, right?
Yeah.
I was doing everything except for the eating part. Right, so I was watching.
That's called 75 soft.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Right,
yeah.
I've heard other things too.
Yeah,
they weren't
a
very
little
nice
more
about
aggressive.
It.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I was watching what I was eating, but I wasn't doing calorie counting or anything like that. And I was eating one time a day instead of a couple times a day. And so
You're trying to starve yourself pretty much, or what?
Well, that's kind of how I've lived my life since I was in middle school, junior high for me. Just eating once a day, like really late at night, really big meal, right? And so I kind of continued on, but instead of eating really late at night, I was having like a really big late lunch. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't moving the needle, obviously. Came into the first mastermind, got a shift in the mindset, went back, started 75 hard correctly this time, right? Still doing the 2 days and whatnot, and got a nutritionist to get me on a good eating plan, and dude, it just started happening. Stuff started shedding off, right? And probably lost, I would guesstimate, a good 70 pounds, probably.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it shows for sure. I think that people overcomplicate it. You know what I mean? They want this result, so they start putting in like the work, and then they're like, well, I don't really know how to eat, so I'll just scale back calories or whatever, right? But like, really, it's like putting the structure together and then just sticking to it, and then all of a sudden the results fall in place. Because I mean, really, dude, there's so many different structures out there, different body types. People are like overcomplicating. It's like when you just create a structure or find one and then you start sticking to it, you start getting results, because really a lot of it's mental, right? It's like literally mentally, even if you are doing all the right things, you could be totally stressed out about it and you're still holding on to weight. I mean, even that Charlie Jabley, dude, the Rocket, right? Like he was like gaining all his weight back, even though he's still doing everything. And he lost this weight, but he was living in like all this stress and chaos and like overthinking it and trying all these new things because the things weren't working anymore, when really it was just a mental shift. And then all of a sudden it starts coming off. So I think when people just stop overcomplicating it, they pick a structure, they stick to it. It's like your brain all of a sudden is like, okay, like we're creating some consistency. We're creating some, we're following something. And then, you start losing weight or gaining muscle or whatever it is you're trying to do.
Well, what I think is cool about it is he said, I had a mindset shift. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden with that mindset shift, you start acting differently. Right. And so I like, people need to understand that like how you think is a big contributor to how you feel, and how you feel is a big contributor to how you act. Right. Like how you think, how you feel, and how you act makes up your personality. And so if you keep thinking the same thoughts, you're going to keep living the same life. And what you said was, hey, I had a mindset shift, and then I went home and I actually did it the way that it was structured to do. Right. And it wasn't just like a weight thing that shifted with your mindset shift. What else shifted? How else has your life enhanced just with a mindset shift?
Dude, in every aspect, just, the way I look at life, what I value, right? On a day-to-day basis, I'm intentional with myself and everything that I do with my business, right? With my family. So I've always kind of had a addictive mentality, if I will, meaning, it was alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, women, and then business. Yeah. Right. And so
you finally found the positive one last.
And I find, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You went through all the negative extremes.
Some of them came through at the same time.
Yeah.
But, now it's just, I really value family. I really value, being surrounded with positive individuals that are willing to, get uncomfortable and do the hard shit, right? Yeah. That nobody really wants to talk about things that really move the needle. Yeah. Right. Whether it's for myself or for somebody else, and really concentrate on what I believe is my calling, which is helping people, being of service. Right. I love how you say, that there's a light that shines. And, I used to hear that a lot. Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Yeah. Like, I'm not shining. Like, I'm hurting, but you don't even know. Right. And now when I hear that, I'm like, I'm glad I could shine my light on somebody else, right? And that I could accept somebody else's light to shine on me. And so that really shifted. And again, I have adult children, which I struggle. I don't know how to say that. Yeah. How do you say that?
You have kids that are now adults.
Like, you say I have kids, you're expecting kids. You say I have children, you're expecting children. So I have an adult daughter and an adult son. That's the only way I know how to say it without being confused. And so really just, devoting into them and, making sure that all the time that I spent concentrating on my business or on anything else, that I neglected them, that I have the opportunity now to kind of make up for some of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
well, you're giving them the best version of yourself, and there's nothing better than that you can give to your kids, right? Like when they see you making change, it gives them the perspective that anything's possible. If I don't like something, I can make an adjustment. I can change too. And it's, there's plenty of people that aren't doing the things that they need to be doing, and they expect that their kids are going to turn out in a certain way, or hope that their kids turn out in a certain way. And when reality, they're just going to turn out based upon the environments that their kids are in, right? And so you're creating an environment by being an example and showing. Has anything shifted with them as you started shifting? Have the conversations changed between you and them?
The conversations have changed, the dynamics, it's going to take time. And it's kind of what I tell them now is like, I'll sit down and have conversations with them. I'm intentional about coming home and actually sitting with them and not being on my phone, not being on the computer, not taking, business calls, that type situation. And I could see some resentment, and, I tell them I know this is going to take time. This is a new version of me that you guys aren't accustomed to. And, everybody feels like, how long is this going to be? Right. Like
you're going to fall off.
You're going to fall off, especially when I came back from my first mastermind. Right. Like, one of the things that was deep for me was, I came in and everybody hugged me. Like you guys hugged me, and I was like, what the fuck, right? Like what the straight up. And, and it wasn't like, like a hug. It was like a hug.
Yeah, bring it in.
Yeah, like bring it in. And, here I was hugging 30 dudes that I just met for the first time, but I had never hugged my son.
Yeah.
And like that was deep for me, right? So when I got home, like I hugged my son, and he did the whole one hand, like, right? And I was like, no, like a real hug, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, what the hell? He started crying. He was like, something wrong? And I was like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I never showed my son how to hug his dad.
Yeah.
Same thing with my daughter. My daughter's like, are you okay? Like,
yeah.
27 and 20 years old, and they didn't know how to hug their dad.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, there's a lot of gifts in it too, right? You know what I mean? Like the challenges that they'll overcome, as they grow, and it's like never too late, right? And I've had this recently with my wife, right? Like where it's like, we both didn't grow up in affectionate families, and it's like, I've, being in my past marriage and then my marriage now, like there's a different like admiration for my wife now. It's like, so I got to this place through all my growth where it was like, I wanted affection, I wanted words of affirmation, I wanted honesty, I want us to like feel like we're growing together. And it was like hard because we both like didn't know how to like really show affection. But overcoming that work, doing the work to overcome that is like, like really made our relationship so much better. And so, dude, sometimes like we feel bad for the things that we did in our past, but we can't beat ourselves up over it. Like you're doing the work now, you're seeing some shifts. They're going to go on in their life. They're going to overcome some of the stuff that they got from like the neglect of the affection and things like that. But it's going to end up being a gift for them. Right. And so as you continue to model that, you continue to be this example for them. Like, they're going to have like way stronger relationships as they grow or as they meet people or they have their children, and like it's gonna end up being a gift for them, so don't beat yourself up over it. I know you're not too hard because you're making the shift now, but sometimes we do that though. We sit back and we're like, like, man, I wish I would have done things different. I wish I could go back, but there's a lot of gift in it.
So the message today is hugs are powerful.
Yeah. Hugs are powerful.
They are, right? Like
skin to skin hugs with men.
Bare chested. No, not
men
quite
titty
bare
on men
chested.
titty.
Yeah, we didn't quite go there. I think we would have ran him out if we went that deep. He gets home, rips
that
off his shirt.
Work,
He's like,
I don't know.
Yeah, with the breath work, we went deep on that first one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like that's what we wanted though. We wanted to throw everyone a big curveball, something that they would have never expected. Kind of crack them open a little bit, and it sounds like it worked. So
but that's the beauty of it, is that we still have the opportunity to make changes, right?
Yeah,
always.
And when you look at it that way, and it's all perspective, is I could beat myself up for all the last 20 something years that I lived my life
which
the
you
way
can't
I did,
control right now,
which I can't control, or I can concentrate on today and start making the shifts and allow them to heal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And when they're ready, I'm ready to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
Love
I mean?
that, dude.
And so that's that mind shift change.
When you say your calling is to help people, like, what does that look like? What's your gift, man? Like, how do you help people?
And I'm still trying to figure that one out. So, you know, sometimes it's just talking to people, to be real with you. I have this thing where people really lean onto me, right? And they tell me some personal shit.
Yeah.
And in the past, I was just like, I didn't know how to respond. I was
Yeah.
just like, fuck, that's fucked up.
That's some deep shit,
That's some
dude.
deep shit.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a great listener, though. Like,
Yeah.
people can trust you. That's big, bro. Like, people need trust.
And so now I'm like, you know, how can I add value to them, right? And even though sometimes I don't know what they're going through, right?
Yeah.
Because I haven't lived that, you know, that episode in my life, or I haven't had those seasons go. I haven't gone through those seasons, and so it's just listening and being able to be like, I don't know what that feels like, but I'm here with you, and I'll walk through the mud with you for a little bit if I have to, right? So that you could feel better and you know that you're not alone. And with both of us together, we'll pull out of this mud.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm getting big into like definitions of words, and the word compassion. Basically what you're saying is you have compassion for these people now, when prior you didn't have compassion. Right. You didn't even know how to tap into that, because it was like, yo, cool, like this is getting weird. Let's shift, because I don't know how to respond to this situation with somebody opening up to me. The word calm, it means with, and passion means suffer. So the root word of compassion means to suffer with another.
Right.
You're willing, like if somebody's opening up to you, when you have compassion, you're willing to suffer with them and go through what you said, go through the mud with an individual. And that's really the root word of compassion. And so it's like, you didn't have compassion before, probably because you didn't even have compassion for yourself.
Totally.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you weren't showing yourself any love, like, why the hell would you have compassion for somebody else and try to show that individual love? You're not willing to walk through the mud for yourself. Why would you walk through the mud for somebody else, right? And I think that that's probably the shift that you've made, is the self-love, right? You keep pouring into yourself, doing the things that you know you need to do that serve you, that fill up your cup, so you have the ability to serve other individuals, right? And who knows where that's going to take you? You know, nobody knows where the end of the road is, or you know, where the journey's going to take us. But when you feel whole and you feel good, you have the ability to make others feel whole and feel good. You can't be in a negative state and make somebody else feel positive. Right. It just doesn't work like that. And so I think that that's really, really cool. Let's pull it back a little bit, like childhood, how you grew up, and like moving our way into your entrepreneurship journey, right?
Yeah. So, born and raised in Los Angeles, and grew up, mom, brother, 2 sisters, single mom. And, you know, I saw a lot of her struggles. Yeah. And now I realize that I carried her struggles. Nobody asked me to, right? But I saw them and I carried them as a child, right? And so I remember being, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 years old. And, you know, I still remember exactly where I was. I was in a pool. And, you know, I told my brother and my cousins, I was like, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna make money so that my mom doesn't have to work the way she does. Yeah. Right. And I kept that promise from when I was 11 years old all the way up. You know, I did a lot of stupid shit, but, you know, we grew up in poverty, dude, you know. I remember seeing my mom like crying in the corner because she didn't eat, because she made sure that we ate. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we'd be like, Mom, are you hungry now? I'm not hungry. I ate earlier, but then she was crying. And I kind of put it together. Yeah, She could have been crying for something else. You know, I can't ask her anymore. But I took it as, man, we're all eating and my mom couldn't eat, right? That's fucked up. And so, you know, that kind of always resonated in me. And so I kind of grew up and I was just like, you know, I grew up with a lot of anger, a lot of hate. And even the word love, I didn't use the word love. Like, even to my mother, like, I never told her. Like, I would very seldomly tell her I love you, or actually would just respond, I love you too. But to go to her and be like, Mom, I love you, very, very little, right? Because I didn't believe in the word. I thought the word was misused, right? Misrepresented. And I didn't feel love towards myself, kind of what you were saying earlier, right?
Can't give something that you don't got.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so started hustling as a young kid, you know, out on the streets. Hustling, right?
Hustling.
You know, just had to make my own money, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to buy stuff. Yeah. hustle and do my own thing. Left my house when I was 16 years old. You know, I thought I was old enough to play house.
Yeah.
Right.
You started just becoming the environment that you were in. When you grow up in poverty, that's what other people are doing.
Right.
Start hustling. Yeah. I'm going to get out on my own because I'm a big boy now.
Yeah. So, you know, I got a girl, and, you know, we said, well, let's play house. You know, she had her quinceañera. You guys know what a quinceañera is?
No.
Is it when they turn 15?
When they
or
turn
16?
15.
Yeah.
Well,
like a 15-year-old
I don't know, it's
like a
birthday
sweet
party.
16.
Yeah, I know it's like the celebration of 15, but I've never known what it means.
It's just like going into your teenage years.
Is it womanhood?
Yeah, okay.
Like celebrating that you're
So they do this
growing.
big thing at church and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And so I was her whatever.
Companion.
Her companion. There you go. Well, I took that shit serious, right?
Yeah.
The next day she moves in with me. And so everybody was like, well, you guys thought it was a wedding and shit? What's wrong with you guys? You know what I mean?
He's like, I took it as that.
Yeah. And so, you know, we moved in together, and, you know, it's just kind of, I was working at Kmart. I was 16 years old. I was working at Kmart to actually make credits to actually graduate high school. Yeah. And, you know, I was a hustler. So they were like, you want a job? Like, we'll pay you $3.75. Let's do it. Right. I got to get an apartment anyway. And, so that kind of came and went. You know, I wasn't doing anything else. I got the opportunity to go to tech school. You know, kind of somebody lured me into the school.
At 16?
No, but at this point I'm 18.
Okay.
And somebody lured me in to go pick them up for lunch. They were like, "Oh, come on up and check out the school." I went up there. They were soldering boards and whatnot, and I was like, "Oh shit, I really love that stuff." Like, I used to open up radios and TVs when I was a kid because I wanted to save the people that was in there. Like, I was like, "How'd they get that small? And let me save them. Let me get them out of there." Yeah. So my mom had to hide the screwdrivers, right? And just started going to tech school. Loved it. Got a job. You know, just running cable, doing all the grunt work, and which is funny because, you know, that ended up being one of my first mentors, right? The guy that hired me, you know, I walked in because I needed credentials at a warehouse job, and I was like, you know, what kind of stuff are you guys running here? I'm going to school for this and that, and he was like, oh no shit. I was like, I have to do an internship, so I'll work for free. He's like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah,
you know,
you say you work for free. I would guess you're gonna have a job.
Yeah. Well, you got to think though. There's this, you know, I was 19, 18 years old at the time. I walked in bald headed, right? Baggy jeans, baggy shirt, white t-shirt, right?
Looking like you're unemployed.
Looking like I'm
chilled out.
Yeah, all dumb now. And so, you know, he was like, we joked afterwards. He was like, I just gave you a job because I was scared.
Yeah. Right? I wasn't trying to get, you know, jumped out in the parking lot after work today.
And so, I worked for that company for, 9 years, kind of gave them everything I got. And, you know, they sent me to more training and more schooling. And I was really grateful for it. Yeah. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur. I never thought I was going to go out and do this for myself. I started getting clients on the side, and, you know, the hustle again.
Yeah.
continued.
Somebody's like, yo, could you do this for me?
Right.
Yeah, I'll pay you X. You know, that's extra couple bucks, right?
And so I finally hit a wall. At one point, my son was born at that point, and I was like, I got to do something else. Like, I can't do this. So I went to my boss, the CTO, and I was like, hey, where do you see me in 5 years? He's like, in my seat. I was like, late. Here's my resignation. He's like, man, that bad? I was like, I don't want to ride a desk. Yeah. I don't want to wear the suit, you know? And he's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm just going to go try this on my own. And I did. I went, I got, you know, small businesses, you know, dentist offices, whatnot. This was 2006.
What were you doing for like dentist offices? Like,
I was doing their computer work, their network.
Okay.
So I do audio, video, surveillance, anything IT related or low voltage related. And 08 happened. We all know what happened in 08. Yeah. All my contracts went away. Everybody said, we'll call you when we need you. I was like, shit, now what? Yeah. Right. It's when I started doing homes, you know, because the older guys doing audio, video, they didn't understand networks. So that's when Netflix really started popping out, and all the streaming services. And so the internet really played a big role in the home. And the older AV guys were like, we don't know about that. We don't care about it. we just want to hang TVs and do the video and the audio and
So the old dogs wanted to do the same tricks.
right. And so they would hire me to do the network part of it. And I was like, well, you guys need me. I don't need you. I'll go learn this shit.
Yeah.
So I did, and I got a business partner, and kind of took off from there.
Is it the same one that you have today?
Yeah, it's the same business partner. He's been with me for now, like we stopped counting. You know, it's like a good marriage. You stop counting because just going so
After
good.
like 20 years or whatever, you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been like we always say it's like 12 to 13, but could be more.
Yeah, well, if
He wasn't your partner in 2006 though when you first started.
No, so I started solo. So the first thing I ever started, to back up a little bit, was a security company. The company that I used to work for, they needed a security guard company. And one of my buddies was a security guard. And I was like, dude, we could just do this for ourselves. I already have the contract. It's a 24-hour contract.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to need X amount of guards. We could charge this much.
you're going to need to work 24-hour shifts
Right.
because we got one employee.
I was like, I can't work because they can't know that I own the company, right? Let's just start something together. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. He already had the guards. It was going great until it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that was my first failed business. So I was in that business for about 5 years, and we ran that shit to the ground.
Is that because of negligence? Is it because of who you were at the time, or was it just,
It was total negligence. It was a lot of money coming in really, really, really fast, right? I still had a 9 to 5. So it was like just extra money, right?
Yeah.
And I was just blowing it. And so, and
what,
then
just lifestyle stuff, or
just
what?
lifestyle stuff, like stupid
thinking
shit.
you were a boss. And,
Yeah, I was going to Vegas and
bottles and all that stuff.
Yeah, partying and whatnot, and just blowing it because it didn't mean anything to me. I didn't earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so my business partner at that time, he didn't feel like he earned it either, I guess, and he got into a bike club and he kind of disappeared. Next thing we know is like, hey, we haven't done payroll and it's 200,000. So I tried to save it, dropped another 200, couldn't save it, and just had to
Walk away
from it. And so
It's hard.
yeah. So that was hard. And so
Hard lesson learned though.
it was.
Yeah.
And so when I started my own, I was like, okay, now I kind of know what not to do.
Yeah.
Right.
That was your master's degree in
That was my
business?
master's degree in
An
business.
expensive master's degree.
No.
Yeah. It always is.
What would you say? Because I know from talking to you in previous conversations, it's like you've got a very high end clientele, like celebrities in LA. You're hooking up your systems in some pretty
High-end homes.
high caliber people. Like how did you network yourself into those channels to get those type of clients?
So it was just word of mouth. So I started going to, which I still belong to, a local networking group, kind of like a BNI. It's called The Tip. And I got cold called into that, to be honest with you. Somebody called me and said, hey, we got this networking thing. We think you'd be a good fit. We saw you on Yelp. And I was like, all right, I'll go check it out. I went and checked it out. And I was like, this is stupid, but I'll join.
Yeah.
Right? We'll see.
We've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really put any attention to it. Like the first year, if I had a job, even if I had to go look at a job, I'd rather go look at the job than to attend the meeting. I didn't see any value in it. So after year 1, my renewal came up and I was like, do I really want to renew? Like, what's the point? So I talk to myself a lot in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's weird, but like I have full on conversations with myself. And so I told myself, like, did you really try? Did you really give this enough effort? The answer is no. So give it one more try, put some effort into it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I did. I came back and I was like, okay, I'm embedded. I blocked off my calendar, every Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I can't book any appointments. Got on the board, did all kinds of shit and kind of started shifting, right? I became a better public speaker.
Yeah.
I was more confident with myself and, I started getting referred out. And it wasn't so much jobs, it was just meeting people.
Yeah.
Right. And just being able to talk and, hooked up with really high end real estate people, and they were selling homes to athletes and, Hollywood people, and they were vouching for me, and,
that's cool.
Yeah. And so I would walk into homes and, oh shit, I didn't realize I was coming to this person's home.
Yeah.
And they kind of took me under their wing, and, it's been a great ride. And now I have a reputation out there. He keeps his mouth shut. He he respects your home, he respects your lifestyle, and
Because it's big on privacy then.
It's
You
huge
know,
on privacy.
In terms of like wealthy athletes, celebrities, they're like, yo, we don't want to be disturbed. We don't want our business shared out there. And that's why, like, when Kel's like, yo, celebrity, like, you don't even say their names, right? Like, and who you're working with, because it's like that tight-lipped. When you start getting up into those type of customers, it's like, dude, I'm hiring you so that nobody knows I hired you.
right.
Like, don't even talk about me, right?
Yeah.
And so, but they do talk about you, I guess, at the very top, saying he's the guy, he's cool, he does a good job, and he's not snooping around your $30 million house, right?
And that took some time, right? Because you don't deal with them directly. You always deal with their people.
Yeah.
Right? And they kind of hide from you, or they hide them from you.
Yeah.
And then, it took some time. And once we started talking, they were like, oh, dude, you're cool. Like, and I was like, dude, you're just another person. Like, I never gave them that caliber of like, oh my God,
Put them on a pedestal,
right?
or
Like,
something
it was
like
like,
that.
dude, I'll give you the same service I'm giving, whoever
Mom and pop down the
mom
street,
and pop down the street.
Yeah.
Like, we're all people. I've always believed in that, right? Like, we're all people. We all,
Don't matter
we
if
all
it's
have the
Oprah's
same
house
value.
or,
Right.
working man's house. Like, you're going to give it the same effort, right?
Yeah, totally.
You said something that's really important, man, that I feel like everybody really does. Okay. And, you're like, I got cold called into this networking thing, this group, and, whatever, I'll just go check it out.
Right.
But dude, look at everything that stemmed from that, right? And it's like, but we do that so often, right? Like, we think we're above shit, or we run scared from shit. But like, really, to create and cultivate those type of relationships, you have to put yourself out there. You have to show up to things. And so when you're like in the position of like, man, what's next, or what could come, you just need to go. Like, you got that call for a reason, right? And it's like, if I just show up, like, some things will happen. But then you decided, well, I'm going to show up and actually be committed to it. And then more shit started to happen, right? But we prejudge things so often, so much. It's like, and we even do it to this day, because we've done the local groups and not much came from it. But we probably didn't give it our all either.
Yeah.
Because I showed up to a local networking group because they asked me to speak. And it's still to this day, bro. Like, I went to lunch with a guy I met there not too long ago, and he wants to do some shit together. I got a message not too long ago, like, dude, I just listened to that episode when you did the Startup and Grind, which was the local group, and dude, had all these takeaways from it. And so it's like a year and a half later, I can't remember how long I did that. It's like, I'm still getting people in our local community hitting me up that turn into things, right? And so I feel like, we prejudge things a lot. We're like, man, it's not for me. It's like, man, you didn't even give it a shot yet, But look at everything that's come from that, because you're like, I'm just gonna accept the call and go check it out. I'm in this position where, like, I'm not swimming in clients. I might as well check it out, right? Yeah. But too many people, push it to the wayside.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Or they don't see the value in it, right? It's not so much because, those are really geared towards, you want to call them lead generations, right?
Yeah.
Like passing leads to each other. But it's really about cultivating relationships that are going to be a lifetime, right? Like, you don't have to be a member to create these relationships and continue to do business in 10, 15 years with these people, right? Because you don't know where they're going, and they'll always remember you for how you served them at the time.
How you showed up.
Yeah, right. And so that's one of the big things that I do.
Well, I mean, one of the takeaways I got from it was, in some cases, it seems like on the surface that we're doing all the right things just because you spent a little bit of money and you're a part of something, but you weren't really committed to being a part of the thing. So on the surface, it's like, yeah, I'm a part of this, the tip or whatever it is. But you're not really a part of it.
Right.
When you questioned yourself and you said, could I immerse myself more? Could I give more effort, more energy? Like, how many things there's so many things that people are doing right now that they're half-assing or half committing to, that if they really had the conversation in the mirror, like, am I giving it my all in order to justify the outcome, right? So we want to judge the outcome with half-ass effort rather than really fully committing to showing up in a certain way, giving full intent, full energy, full commitment to that thing. And the outcome can and will be different, provided your effort is different. It's an input output game, right? When you started actually becoming intentional and increasing your effort, the output showed up. And that's just the way that the world works, right? Like it's just like the gym. You can't cheat the gym, right? There's no way around it. You actually have to do the work to receive the result. But that's an analogy that everybody understands, but there's so many different areas in life that you have to do the work in order to get the outcome. That's just more something physically that we could see with our eyes that makes sense. And in some cases it's faith. You know, everybody knows if they put work in the gym, there will be a result. It doesn't really take a whole lot of faith because you could visually see that, right? But when it comes to putting effort and energy into something that you have to have a little bit of faith in what the outcome could be, or faith that provided that you do it, the outcome will be positive, even though you can't guarantee it. With fitness, you could guarantee it, but there's stuff like that you just can't quite guarantee. You have to commit to first, but it is an input-output game. The results will be there provided the effort is there, right?
Yeah, average people show up and they're like, well, I showed up and nothing happened, so I'm quitting.
That's what I'm saying.
And you had enough wisdom to be like, you know what, I showed up, but I didn't really put in the effort. So I'm going to redo this, see what can come of it.
Yeah, and something did come of it.
Yeah.
Weird. Isn't it funny how that shit happens?
Isn't it
right?
funny? Yeah.
So what's one of the biggest struggles that you've had to face just as an entrepreneur, as a business owner?
One of the biggest struggles is believing in myself, believing that I'm capable, that I'm worthy of, right? Some people call it imposter syndrome, whatnot. I had a hard time believing that, I had it in me to make money, to be of service, be a business guy. So, I always treated it as a job, right? Yeah. It was just a job. And it was like, if I could hustle this good for somebody else, right? Whether it was out on the street or, for Kmart at the time, I could hustle like this for me. Yeah. Right. So I still saw it as just a hustle. And so one of the biggest struggles was, turning from a hustle to a business owner, right? And allowing myself to be open to bring in employees, to bring in people to help me, and realize that they don't have to do it the way I do it. Yeah. It's okay if they have their own way, as long as our end goal is the same, which is, deliver a product or deliver a service to somebody that's at a high level. And that was really, really tough because I'm a perfectionist, right? And so I wanted to do it all myself. So it was like, move out of the way, I'll do it. Yeah. And, that was one of the biggest struggles that I think I had to overcome. And obviously that was bringing in another partner, right? Yeah. And he kind of came in and, it was like, dude, you could go do this on your own and I'll help you. Or we could do this together. And so, doing those shifts has kind of been the hardest thing for me. And then, pivoting, allowing myself to pivot. 2008, I had to pivot. 2020, had to pivot. Yeah. Right? Everybody's shutting down. And it's like, now what? Like, how are we going to continue?
In people's homes.
Mm-hmm. How do we go into people's homes, right? Yeah.
Especially in California.
Especially in California for 2 years. So that was very scary. It was like, now what? We just bought trucks. We just bought this. We just, we were expanding at the time. And it was just being able to pivot and make those changes to continue providing a service. And it was for a long time, I never chased money. Yeah. I was chasing something bigger. And so allowing myself to be of service, which is one of our core values. And, when my business partner came on board and he bought his first house, I was like, bro, like, this is what it's about. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even my previous business partner, right? Like, he used to live in an apartment. I got him into a home, right? And he started buying nicer cars and this and that. And it was like, it wasn't about putting money in my pocket. It was about being able to help those around me. That felt freaking
watching
amazing.
Other people
amazing.
Live a better life.
I'd rather have somebody come and be like, dude, I just moved from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom because I have some money saved now and I have stability with you and I feel okay with spending a little bit more.
Feel secure.
And it might not sound like a whole lot, like it's still an apartment, but dude, to me it's like fulfilling. Like, hell yeah, dude, your son's got his own room now. Yeah. Like, dude, that's fucking
all
dope.
those steps are a big deal. Yeah. Man. Yeah. I like that, dude, because, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that because I think we all dude, we all battle for that confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it really is tough, especially when you come up like all of us, right? Where it's like, dude, you come up from like poverty, broken homes, all this stuff. And then you have that mindset of like, well, why would they pick me? Why would a client pick me? Why would someone want to work for me to, overcoming that and getting that mindset of like, well, why not me? Why not pick me? Why not, pick me to be, the guy that puts the shit in your home? Why not the celebrities pick me? Why not the employees work with me? Why not the partners pick me to do business with, to do life with? And so that is a battle, bro. Like, I'm sitting here like thinking as you were saying that, like, dude, I remember that, man. I remember that exact same thing because it was just a side hustle for me too, man. It was a side hustle of like, okay, like we could do this on the side and make a little extra money. Didn't really value it. It was just extra money for a little while until I got fired, right? And then I was like, oh shit, I got fired from my 9 to 5. And like really having that mindset of like, well, dude, why would people want to come work with me in the basement of my house?
Right.
Like, why does Jeremy want to do this with me? Like I'm just some punk kid. Right. And so, it is a lot of work to get to that shift of like, well, why not me, man? Like, I know I actually do have some greatness inside of me. I know I have that light inside of me. And so, I started thinking that as you were telling that story, bro, that is a tough battle to overcome.
And it still creeps up sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
I was just going to say, it's an ongoing battle.
Yeah. Totally.
It does, I mean, that's just, and especially when you're about self-improvement, you're always killing the old version of yourself, right? And there's always ongoing battles with who you are versus who you're trying to become, right? It's just very, very difficult if you going from the hustler to the business owner mindset is a big, big shift because you were treating it like a job. And when you started treating it more like a business, you're probably getting more business, right? Rather than just a paycheck. Totally. Being self-employed versus a business owner really is the shift that you made, right? I know that we talked about it, that you're really big on structure now, if you will, because, I mean, every time that we go out of town and we do one of these mastermind trips, there's one person that beats me to the gym every single time, and it's Adolfo.
Yeah.
So talk about your structure. Talk about kind of your routines that you go through that are making you the best version of yourself, right?
Yeah. So one of the big things that I learned was I need time. I love being alone.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
That moment where everybody's sleeping, there's no noise.
Zoned out,
right? And so I used to get up early for a long time, woke up at 2, 3 in the morning. And I would just be on the phone working or get up on the computer, drink a gazillion coffees.
I guess at 2 or 3, I mean, you got about 6 hours before the world wakes up. So 13 cups of coffee later, you're ready for work.
Then I was bouncing off the wall.
Yeah.
But so I didn't change that. And it wasn't like, I had an alarm clock or anything. It was just my internal clock wakes me up at 3 in the morning. And so I started changing that to meditation, reading the book, right? The Bible.
Yep.
And really, having that moment and allowing myself to have a relationship with my creator.
Yeah.
And allowing myself to listen, right? Because it's easy to ask. It's easy to pray and, ask for stuff. Yeah. And it's a lot harder to be real with yourself and your creator, right? On your flaws.
Yep.
And listen, right? And sometimes it's just sitting in silence, right? And you start getting these thoughts into your head, and sometimes they're negative, and so you start working on those negative thoughts, those immediate thoughts that hit you, right?
Lean into them, yeah.
Yeah, you lean into them, like, why am I feeling this? Or where is it coming from, right? And so I meditate and read for about an hour and a half, and then I work out. So
you do all that shit prior to beating me to the gym.
Well, then I beat you to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I meditate, I read, I pray, and then I hit the gym. I used to run for last year. I ran almost all year, and then my knees kind of gave out on me a little bit.
Yeah, we got one in, huh? Yeah,
we got one in.
Yeah. That was
Vegas.
Well, yeah, it was in Vegas. So again, he beat me to the gym in Vegas. And so, I lift and he's like walking out and I'm like, bro, I'm going to go for a run after my lift here in like 15 minutes. You want to go for a run? And he's like, you serious? Kind of like taken back. And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do 5 miles real quick. He's like, okay. I said, meet me in the lobby in like 10 or 15 minutes or something like that. And there he is. He's in the lobby. I'm like, you ready to go? And then we get out on the run. And what are we, like 2 or 3 miles in, maybe something like that. And I'm like, bro, what's your farthest run? And you ended your gym workout with, I think, a couple miles on the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And so he had already ran a little bit. Yeah. And so I was like, he's run. I'm going to go for a run. Why don't you come run with me? 2 or 3 miles in, I'm like, yo, what's your furthest run so far? What'd you say? It was like 5 miles or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. And I was like, sweet. It just changed to 8, and like, you're just like, are you serious again? That look again? Like, I can't say no. We're already 2 or 3 miles deep. Right. And so, I mean, that day he ended up getting, a total of 10 miles, pretty much doubling. There was some pain going on there, but totally. I remember that final stretch, like that's what's so cool about you is you just have this attitude of gratitude. Like you're always just so thankful and grateful. And it was like, dude, thank you so much. And it was like, you were in so much pain, but yet you were thanking me. You're like, bro, I just want to cry. Yeah. I'm just so thankful and so grateful for the experience. And it was just, that's what I'm saying. Like when I say you inspire me and you impact me and that you are a light, like, that makes me question myself. Like when I'm in pain or agony, can I get to the point where I'm also just still full of gratitude, for the journey, for the pain, for the lessons, for all of it, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. And so thanks for sharing that pain with me.
Thank you for bringing me on.
There's always pain at mile 8, dude.
Yeah. I think we hit the pain about mile 5 or 6 along that freeway right there.
We did.
You're like, that's let's pull back a little bit.
Yeah, you were like, you gotta slow down, dude. You're going too fast.
Well, at first, I'm like, bro, let's pace it, dude. Let's pace it. You're gonna hit a wall.
I gotta go fast, dude. I gotta finish.
I'm like, dude, but that was the weird thing. It was like you're either running fast or you towards the end, you're like, dude, I need to stop. I'm like, if we pull back by like a 2-minute pace per mile, we can hold the pace. And then we'd start running again. It's like 0 to hero. And then we hit a wall and it was like 0 to hero. It just kept kind of going like that.
Entrepreneurs just in life, bro. We're always like trying to get to the destination instead of enjoying the journey. You know, and it's like, I still have to remind myself of that all the time. It's like, taking my family on a vacation. It's like, it's all this chaos. I just want to get there. Yeah. Instead of just being like, dude, like, I get to pack with the kids. They can help me load the car. We can take our time. We can enjoy the sights and then get to the destination,
Now that focus shifts to focus on the progress, right? On the journey and really enjoying it. And like you said, being grateful and finding the positive in everything, right? Like we all go through pain. We all go through the fire, but there's a reason for that. Yeah. And that's where the faith comes in, right? Mm-hmm. When you could say to yourself in faith with hope, I don't have to jump through this fire. I could go through this fire because I am going to be remolded to the individual that I need to become. Yeah. Right? And it's going to be painful. Yeah. But I can't skip it. I can't bounce through it. I can't go around it or else I won't become the person that I need to become.
That's what makes you not average, bro. Average people, they run from the comfort, the discomfort, they run from the pain. They just want to stay comfortable. But, we adopt this mindset through our journey of building businesses and families and lives and, earning our own income instead of just going to a job, right? It's like we learn that, man. We learn that we get to go through this. We don't have to, we get to, and therefore we choose it. Gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just important when you're going through something to not let the emotion get the best of you. You have to kind of override the emotion with logic and just be like, okay, this is a good thing. When I pop out the other, there's something positive about this, right? I'm going through something and I'm going to pop out the other side, a new individual, a better individual, whether it's in business. I'm going through this problem right now. And if I solve this problem, I'm going to get to the other side of it. My business is going to get better because of it. Like, problems aren't there to take you out. Problems are there to expose your weaknesses so that you have the opportunity to stare it directly in the face and change something about you, change something about your business, so that you can get greater, so that you can get stronger, so that you can get better, right? Is really what it comes down to. And we were talking this morning in the gym when he beat me there.
I must have just missed you, dude.
Well, he smoked me today. Like, I didn't even see
was leaving
him.
as you came in?
He was already gone today.
Okay.
He didn't show up today.
No, I guess, yeah, I did. Don't try to air that shit out. Kel was there. He's my witness.
I'm saying you didn't show up when I was there.
Yeah, when you were
7:30.
there. Yeah. So Kel saw me there. But I guess it was 2 days ago. And I walk in, he's already in a full sweat, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he's rolling solo, nobody else in there. He's just going. And I'm like, damn, son. God, I got to get up freaking even earlier to beat this guy. And then the next day I sleep in a little bit. Still got it, though. Don't try to say I didn't do it. Yeah, I know, right? When I say, where were you this morning? And I'm like, bro, I was there, dude. Sorry I don't get up at 2, read, meditate, Bible, pray, and still beat everybody to the gym. So that's one of the things that is probably your superpower, to be able to wake up like that and have that internal clock, but change some of the negative habits that you had, waking up early, just staring at your phone, slurping down 13 cups of coffee to something positive, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of things that people are doing that are negative, and they can use that same time and switch it over to something positive and ultimately become a better product of self, right? But when we were talking, your podcast is called
The Battles Within.
The Battles Within. That's already launched, or you're about to launch it?
So
or
about
what?
to launch it.
Yeah.
We have a couple episodes in, so we're
in the
trying
pipe.
we're trying to get a nice pipe before we launch it, so that
Yeah,
we're not stressing
4 or
out
5,
about it.
6
6
episodes, something like that.
Yeah,
And then
so we're on
start
3 right now.
releasing.
Yeah.
Okay. But the cool thing is we always get in some pretty deep conversations, especially early morning at the gym, right? Like, it's just, I don't know why it happens. It just happens. We started talking, he's saying he reads the Bible in the morning. I said, dude, that's what I've been doing the last, couple weeks, is getting up early, reading the Bible. Cause I've been doing the same thing for 4
So hard to read, huh? I've been reading it all year.
Difficult.
So far.
It is. Like, I have to reread the same
them
damn
chapters
thing.
are short. I'm like, I get 2 or 3 done. I'm like, okay, man, I'll be back tomorrow.
Well, bro, I have to
But I do actually start putting it together.
Yeah.
Even though it's like,
well, especially early, sometimes early in the morning when you're not fully functioning or whatever, you got to read the same verse.
are you reading the Old Testament or the New?
Right now, I'm reading Romans.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that old or new? I have no idea. Adolfo over here probably knows better than me. I just heard it was good, so I was like, I'm gonna start where it's good. Yeah. I started at the front. I started at the front of the book, dude, and got like a few chapters in, and it started talking about so and so had the son of Cain and Abel, and then
Abel
this,
Cain,
and then it starts going
okay.
through everybody's like children and stuff, and I'm just like, yo, now
they
it's
live
like
800 years, 500 years.
I know,
like,
right?
weird.
I was
Crazy.
like. It was like 100, yeah.
You're in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
You know.
He was like 150 something years old. And then they had the quinceañera, like that's them turning 15 at 150 or whatever, right? So I was like getting through the names or whatever. I'm like, yo, I can't just read name after name. I'm like, and then I heard Romans was really good. So I just went to Romans and I've been geeking out on that. But so we start geeking out on that. And I shared a story with him about the gods, right? God gave man infinite power, and it's just a story, right? This didn't come out of the Bible, just to be clear, right? Well, I don't know. I haven't read the whole thing yet, so maybe it's in there somewhere.
I'm similar to that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So man had this great power, and it was abused, right? As men do. We abuse sometimes our powers, right? And use it for negative things rather than positive things, right? And he said, I'm going to take away the power that these men have. And he took it away, and he was trying to figure out where to put it. Somebody said, put it at the highest mountaintop. He says, for this much power, men will climb to the highest mountain to have it. Somebody said, put it at the bottom of the ocean. For this much power, men will go to the bottom of the ocean for it. Somebody says, I know where to put it. Put it inside them. Put it within. They'll never look there. And he goes, that's weird. My podcast is called The Battle Within.
Yeah.
Right? And it's basically saying that everything that you've ever wanted is within you, right? You have to start looking inward. We just distract ourselves too much, like the shiny object, like I'll be happy when I have this car or then this or this or this. And you get more hollow as you go up in levels in life and business, in your finances, if you never look within and start asking yourself tough questions and figuring out who you want to become and kind of tapping into your divine, right? Which is what I think that you've done an amazing job of. And one of the things that I respect about you, and that's why I said what I said when we started the podcast, is like, you're an epitome of that for me anyways. You're a big example, right? And so I thank you for that. But like just the conversations we have are always special. Especially early in the morning when you're dripping sweat and I'm just warming up, so.
Damn, I guess I better get there earlier with you guys.
You're missing the good ones, bro. You're missing the good conversation. I can't get that deep when there's 4 people in there.
True.
You got to kind of look like
one-on-one is powerful.
Yeah,
one-on-one
it
is,
was cool. It was
but
cool.
I really do. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the kind words. And listen, that's what it's all about. And, the battles within, it's really about that. It's about,
Nobody's holding you back from anything. You are, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah,
the battle
exactly.
within that you've got to address.
And there's battles every day. Every day we have choices and things that we have to go through. And there's battles that, you could overcome in a day, in a moment, in a season, right?
Yeah.
And there's battles that you've been carrying all your life.
Yeah.
From childhood, and you still are battling with it right today. But it could be business, it could be personal, it could be whatever you want. And that's why we chose that name, because it was so broad, and we have these deep conversations like what you and I do early in the mornings. I have it with my business partner. We're always like, dude, we should have hit record, because who knows? Maybe somebody could listen to this and feel like they're a part of something, right?
Well, and that's the biggest ticket, man, is like when you start something like that, it's the intention to make it about serving and others, not about yourself. Like usually when people start a podcast or something, it's like, what can I get out of it, right? And you're already in the right mindset where you're like, dude, like one person could get some value out of this. Let's put it out, right? You're making it about them instead of about you.
You know what's cool? What's really, really cool about it is there's a true ripple effect in the world when you actually start committing to those battles within. When you start committing to becoming the best version of yourself, it has the ability to have a ripple effect and affect one person. And then that one person has the ability to affect just one person, right? And then like how far does the ripple effect go? Like you're talking about hitting a low spot in November, then listening to podcasts, and then coming across our podcast, then joining the mastermind, then getting a mental shift. And then here you are about to start a podcast, already got a couple episodes in, and like, it's like passing the baton to you for you now to take that and the better version of you and impact somebody else, right? Like, and that's really what it's about, because there is a true ripple effect. And I know that when somebody's at a low spot, they don't, maybe they can deal with the pain and the hurt, but maybe it's bigger than you. Maybe there's somebody that's watching and they're going to emulate you at one point, and that's not a version that you would want anybody to emulate. Like,
absolutely
suppress the pain. But whether it's our kids, whether it's people in our close proximity, like you have the ability to impact people in a positive way by doing one thing, and that's impacting yourself in a positive way first, right?
And the right people will follow, right? You guys all met Adriana, right?
Yeah.
She's not my wife; she's my significant other. I don't.
Yeah.
We're not married, but
She's been together.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She really is a sweetheart, and she's got the most beautiful heart I've ever, on a woman that I've ever met. And, she started her own journey, right?
Yeah.
And I was always like, you don't have to follow what I'm doing. Like, I'm on 75 hard. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm reading. You could do your own journey. Yeah. But, for the first time, I was able to tell her, like, I'm broken and I'm trying to fix who I am.
Yeah.
But my fix is not your fix.
Yeah.
You got to find your own. Like, come I'll walk in the journey with you, but like don't follow my steps. Like, you know what I mean? Like find your own journey.
Yeah.
And she has. And you know what you said was beautiful, because before coming out on this trip, she talked to me, and you know, she's like, you know, somebody came to me and talked to me about some personal stuff, and I was able to just listen and, you know, be impactful to that person. And you know, she started crying, and she was like, this is all part of what your journey was.
Yep.
Now I'm finding who I am and how I could be of service to other people. And I was like, dude,
That's it.
freaking amazing.
Boom, boom, boom. The ripple effect is really, you throw that one pebble, and then it goes, it turns into 2 ripples, 3 ripples, 4 ripples, right? It takes the one ripple to make the next, and then the next, and then the next, right?
So those are the affirmations that I look for in life.
Yeah.
Right? So when I say I'm ready to be obedient, right, to my calling, is like you start hearing that stuff. You know, I told you the other day at the gym, like, we all want to hear this loud voice, Adolfo, you have to do this, right?
Yeah,
or this special sign that, you know, shines
Get
down.
hit over the head with a damn bat, like,
Right.
oh, like
No, that actually happened, but
yeah. That was young.
That wasn't
young,
fun.
Yeah,
that was young Adolfo.
yeah. That was probably God, though,
yeah, right,
saying
yeah.
like, quit going down this path, you idiot.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to listen then.
Yeah.
But you know, even like, you know, Corey, you know, choosing me to be part of this mastermind, to me, that was a calling, right? I was already ready to receive. You know, when I signed up for this, I had no intention in the world for you guys to come. I was like, dude, these guys are huge. You know, they're gonna get a shitload of applications, and then, you know, Corey calls me, and I'm like, what the hell? Why? You know, and it was just like that
belief system.
Listen, I'm calling you into something better, right? And then I come to find out that, you know, he has a prayer prior to making these phone calls, and it was just like, wow, if you didn't need an affirmation, there it is, right?
Yeah.
And I struggled with it. I think, you know, he kind of chased me down a little bit, right? You know, because I was struggling with that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't belong there. Like, these guys are high level guys. Like, they're talking about some real stuff that, you know, am I really ready to go there? You know? And so
You were fucking ready, bro.
Yeah.
so, you know, again, I'm extremely grateful to be here, to be a part of this group, to have the ability to call you guys friends now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be able to pick up the phone and call you guys, or schedule a call with you guys, and
Anytime.
everybody in the RBL family, right? And I really do see it as a family.
Absolutely.
And I take what I learn here and I bring it into my local groups. Right?
Yeah.
And so, and I'm in there and I'm like, you got to do this, you guys got to do that, right? Or, you know, looking within, right?
Own your shit.
Own your shit. Yeah. You know, be committed. Like, you could do more. You just, you have to want it.
Yeah.
You're
That's
owning
the shit.
You're owning the story of why you can't do more, rather than just doing more.
Yeah. I heard recently, something that said, you know, everybody says, you know, the details are in the devil.
Yeah.
Right? And this person said, I don't remember where I heard it, to be honest with you. But they said the details determine your destination.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. You know, because if you look at all the details that you do, that's going to determine where you're going.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we all choose to ignore it and focus on either somebody else. And we want to fix everybody, but we're not willing to fix ourselves.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's easier to point out other people's
So
problems
easy.
and say, dude, you're such an idiot. You should be doing this, and
Right.
this. And then you go home and just fuck off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, you know, it's starting within, and then allowing, you know, the people that are going to adapt to you come and, you know, help them out in their journey and allow them to shine in the way that they could shine. I think we're all wonderfully made.
Yep.
You know, we're all here for a purpose and a reason, and we were all meant to, you know, meet each other and, you know, do a damn podcast. And I love it. And you know, if we could continue on, you know, providing a positive message to the world, because there's enough negativity out there. There's enough shit out there that little by little, you know, positive stuff starts embedding into people's brains.
Plant those little seeds and hope they grow. You know,
And,
Absolutely.
You know, that's all we could do is water it, and, you know, hopefully be fruitful for, not for ourselves, but for those around us.
Yeah. Love it, man. Every day I pray. I pray for, you know, myself, my kids, our RBO family, everybody, man. Like, you know, I pray for courage, man, because courage
it takes courage to fight and look within and go through our dark times. And then it takes a lot of courage to start sharing it and be that light, dude. Like, it's hard for people, right? And so I admire your courage, man, for not just being here today, but starting your podcast, putting that message out there, being that ripple effect, pouring into your wife, your kids, your employees, just your world, bro, like your surroundings, right? And so, you know, I just felt like I want to tell you that, man. Appreciate your courage. Appreciate you being here on this journey with us with RBO. And then, you know, your own journey at home, dude. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
but before we go on our taco date, dude, I do want you to tell these guys, man. I want you to tell them, because today was we're Mastermind, bro. You're going nationwide. You are a person of quality. You do quality work. You build up quality people to do work. And so, like, for business owners that need the network services or want to listen to your podcast, tell them everything about, you know, your business, the name of it, where they can find you, where they can check you out, so that you are more accessible to the world.
When they want to put 30 TVs on a wall, make the one big TV, the 30 TVs one TV.
Yeah. Video wall, baby.
Video wall.
Yeah. Hey, those are cool.
They are cool.
And they're
dude.
expensive.
Yeah.
So, thanks, bro. The business name is Active Networks. We're based out of Los Angeles, California. We've been in business for 17 years, and we're providing, you know, exceptional customer service on a IT solution, audio, video, surveillance, for both your home or business, right? We want to make sure that we use technology to elevate your life, right, on a day-to-day basis. You know, everybody's always been afraid or had this fear of technology because it's scary, right?
Yeah. Anything that you don't understand is scary.
Right. And so, you know, we want to bring in that, you know, that positive experience using technology. And, you know, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Active Networks LLC. That's the best way to
engage
with us and connect with us. You know, and the Battles Within, also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Battles Within _. That's our podcast, again, to be released hopefully very, very soon. I'm very excited about it. It's a new passion of mine. Active Networks LLC is kind of the best way to get a hold of us. And then my personal is at the Real Adolfo. I think it's just at the Real Adolfo. Yeah, at the Real Adolfo, because there is a fake Adolfo. I don't know.
Yeah. You just knew you'd get so big that there'd be a fake one day. So, yeah.
I love it.
What's your social and your phone number, bro? Your social, that we have to share.
Two?
Yeah. How do they get a hold of you? And how do they become you?
You ready?
You ready? Exactly.
I'll give you the last five.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hold on. And your Amex. What's the 15 digits now? No, dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said in the beginning, you are a light. You will do a lot of special things. And all of that was possible because he decided he would no longer accept the version that he was, and he knew he had the ability to create something different. So I commend you, as Kale said, for having the courage to fight your battles within. Because you did that, the world will be a better place. And, you know, I know that all the listeners probably just fell in love with you just as much as we do. So appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, rate, review, do all the fun, cool shit. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Keep kicking ass.
Peace.